Okay, good afternoon and welcome back to the Destination Day at the ITB 2018. Another great session ahead. This time we head to China, where a panel of experts will tell us a little bit more about how destinations can target the Chinese millennials. They seem to be the fastest growing group of outbound tourists out of China, so there's huge opportunities there, and we've assembled a panel here that will help you to understand how to target these tourists more with your businesses. So before I hand over to Joseph Wang, who's our moderator for this session, we have another live voting question for you. Voting. So please grab the clickers. They're hanging off the side of your chair, so you can participate here. We would like to know, are tourism destinations prepared for the demands of Chinese millennials, yes or no? So as soon as the dramatic music starts, please select one of these three options. Great. So I think there's still some room for destinations to learn something here, and hopefully this panel that we're about to experience will give you some insights into how to do that. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming Joseph Wang to the stage, who will lead this panel for the next hour. Thank you. All yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph Wang from China. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for TravelDaily China. We are China's leading online publisher and event organizer, focusing on distribution, marketing, technology development in travel and tourism industries. Today, I'm very pleased to have some of the senior executives from leading Chinese OTAs, travel technology companies, meta search, hotel chains, to share the latest development and also share with you some insights, lessons they learned in the past year, especially about the marketing and how to connect with the Chinese millennials through the digital way or through the emerging new media channels. So before I invite the speakers come to the stage, let me quickly give you an overview about something you might be interested in about the latest development. Oh, this is the one. So question one. According to vacation orders received by C-Trip recently, the top three most popular islands for Chinese in 2017 were A, B, C, or D. So who is the professional? Who is from these islands? Which one is correct? Okay, you can scan the QR code. You can get the answer. The second one is pretty complicated. It's for one who recently you spent 1 year at least in China, and if you have a 14 to 18 years old kid, you might be familiar with this question. As the major Chinese social media platforms, Weibo and WeChat, become saturated and give users declining organic reach, while charging increasingly large sums for advertising. Big travel brands, the big brands are starting to turn to smaller platforms like which one? For social media campaigns that target Chinese Generation Z consumers. I heard okay, you can scan the QR code, but there's no QR code. This is the name of the platform. It's called Douyin. I'm a fan of Douyin. I play it every night with my daughter, and that's really a fantastic, interesting thing. We can see the changes for the past year in China, especially social media platforms. Okay, with nearly 400 million millennials in China, the Generation Y is the fastest growing demographic, both in workplace and marketplace in China. The group presents a huge and dynamic opportunities for travel brands, airlines, hotels, OTAs, cruise, to attract and retain a booming market. Actually, they already represent about 1/3 of all the customers to the hotels and the airlines. 600 million Chinese spend average 1.5 hours daily on their smartphones, shop on things. And that's almost disrupted or significantly changed the traditional advertising industry in China. Just now I show you that the new platform is really popular among the new generations. And the short video advertising is now becoming the mainstream to reach the millennials. So someone told me last week that if the brands want to better communicate with millennials or Generation Z, there are 3 words you need to remember. Easy, economy, and entertainment. Anyone familiar with this brand? Near my home, there's always long queue, waiting 24 hours waiting to taste this. I don't understand what this is, but today we have this session. We have the speakers from different verticals. We can discuss this. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the speakers onto the stage. First of all, Jenna Qian, the CEO of Destination Marketing C-Trip. Welcome. Françoise, Vice President, Marketing and Sales, Louvre Hotel Group. Welcome. And Mr. Roland, Chief Commercial Officer, Maritim Hotels. Please. And our old friend, George from iGola. Welcome. Okay, I already mentioned the transaction trends, and you guys are either working in China or you have family, you have friends in China. You are pretty familiar with the trends last year. So, what are the mega trends or challenges for you have seen the last year, especially for the last year? I just think is really, really impressive. That you can share to all the audience here. So let's start with Françoise?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say that there isn't so many differences between Western and Chinese millennials. I think that we should speak about millennials as a whole, and that a lot of their expectations are more or less the same. Then it's true that we have seen, these big trends of the millennial or the Z generation coming up over the last few years. And as far as the hotel industry is concerned, is that we have to reinvent, of course, our industry. We have to consider our hotels into places like, it's not places to go to sleep, or it's not places to go to eat anymore, but it's really places where our clients and our millennials and our different audiences are coming there to live something very special. Mm-hmm. And for instance, we had the pleasure to launch 2 of our Western brands into China recently, the Campanile brands and Golden Tulip. And these 2 brands are anyway geared to millennials here in Europe. And when we brought those 2 products, those 2 brands in China, we have seen that the clients are responding exactly in the same way, meaning that, for instance, millennials are really blurring the lines between pleasure and business, and that our brands, our hotel brands today, really, need to offer a real playful outlook on pleasure, travel, and tourism in order to respond to their needs, and they really need to offer great experience to these audiences. Then it's really, what we have experienced here in Europe, and that what we are bringing into China.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your sharing. So, okay, Jenna, as we know, C-Trips now is leading the transformation and innovation in both online and offline in China. And also, today you do a lot of, destination marketing. Yeah. Help the destinations. So you always, recently you launched a lot of reports, especially on the behaviors of millennials or even Generation Z or family trips. So what you have seen in the past year to share with us?
Sure. I think for Chinese millennials, they do have some special traits as a group. First, they demand instant satisfaction and immediate consumption. They are more financially secured than their previous generation. And I actually read an article a couple of days ago saying that generation post-90s are the goldfish constellation.
Okay.
They only have 7-second attention.
7 seconds.
They are very easy to be distracted. So as a marketer for travel brands, I think it is important to know where to reach them. All the media channels, the new one and the traditional one, WeChat, short video, live streaming. And also it is important to impress them right away.
Okay.
And secondly, for Chinese millennial, I think another trait they have is they are not homogeneous group. Everybody of them is, as an individual is special, and they are more interest-driven. Mm-hmm. We are, we're in the travel business, and we have seen the changes in the last decade. They are much more interest-driven. For the youngsters in China, they could be inspired by a Japanese cartoon and to book a trip. And we see a lot of diving fans or skiing fans. They just want to check all the spots, all the good skiing spots, diving spots globally. Thirdly, they are visual. They are very visual and interactive. So words mean, pictures or videos means a lot more to them than words. So when we develop content, we want to make our content more interactive and more visual. And on Citra platform, we have started to build VR-enabled content. We have more video content than ever before. So that's a trend that we're seeing. And lastly, I think the younger consumers are sophisticated. Sophisticated in a way that they are aware of social issues. Yep. They care about environmentalism, and they also demand smooth and satisfying travel experiences. Mm-hmm. So as a travel service platform, we, as a professional, want to develop more sophisticated products for the market, for the emerging market. Thank you.
So they are now not just willing to pay more for first-class flights, luxury resort, but also trying to, to find some unique experience, local experience, taste the food. That's something right. From your report, right?
That's right. Yeah, they want more authentic experience, and when we say they're willing to pay more, they are willing to pay more for good experiences. And I believe consumer is still always it's always ROI driven, right? Okay. Yeah, they want the best value for money. But if we could offer them higher quality products, they are not price sensitive at all for the millennials.
Okay, thank you. And Roland?
Well, it's not that much left no more, honestly speaking. Well, from the perspective of a hotelier located with the majority of properties here in Germany, we experienced last year a very, very strong change in what we already heard, more focus on experience rather than on goods. So the value of experience from something you can share afterwards to be in the socialism is much more important than ever before. We see a group of young people very curious, very demanding, looking for very fast respondings, and they're absolutely not to any brand. What we experience is that they just there try to gather their information as per their interest. When they do not get the information in time over here, they just switch and move to another source. So I do think for like the hospitality, what is in general a very, let me say, old-fashioned profession, we definitely need to look for our digital capability for the future. what Jenny said is so much true, and we see that. And one thing what we also observed last year is that the number of individual travelers increased. So Chinese travel to Germany or to Europe, let me say, was in the former days always group concerned travel. You know, lead a group from this point to this point, I don't know, 10 cities in 5 days and things like this. And nowadays we see much more individual travel with these individual interests and gathering experiences to share it afterwards with all people at home. So quite interesting for us here.
Interesting. So all different angles. So George, as the other three, speakers are pretty familiar. The audience are familiar with them, but iGola actually, I'm confused. iGola, Houdebine.
Okay.
So introduce a little bit of yourself.
Okay. iGola is iGola is iGola.
Okay.
iGola is actually iGola is a leading technology company focused on flat meta search. We connected with most of the famous OTAs, airlines globally. From my point of view, the millennials of Chinese people, they change a lot their travel habit. International travel become a lifestyle now. 4 or 5 years ago, when we travel business class, we noticed that most of the business class passengers are old generation. Now, from Europe, from US back to China, you can see half of the occupation of the business class is Chinese millennials. It's very strange to me. And also, they make the decision very quickly when they decide to travel. We have a special function, inspiration travel, called Where to Go. Actually, they don't have the clear destination. They just want to see the world. For sometimes, in the past, they have a clear destination like Paris, London. Now, they always pick their small island, which seldom have Chinese travelers. Now it's harder to find the island without Chinese people. And the challenge for us, because we connected with the global OTAs, maybe the OTAs from India, from Russia, when we connected with all the OTAs, the challenges on the internet speed, the language, and the payment issues. So we connect all them together and close the loop. We use the most popular way to collect the money. So no matter these Chinese millennials want to travel all over the world, they just use seconds to design the way how they travel and compare the price. I know that the next generation is not so price sensitive, but they still need to plan the travel and travel smart.
I see. So as Glenn Fogel, the president CEO of the Booking.com today, it's changed the name. So he mentioned that one day recently he was in Iceland. He found some Chinese travelers, millennials, and he talked with them. Then he saw these millennials from China might be more experienced than the European boys and girls. So have been more than 32 countries already, and visit mobile phone.
Great, yes.
Yeah, so I think in terms of the technology and where it is payment, whatever things, China is kind of leading the way. Maybe in the next 10 or 2 years, yes. China will be, change the whole behaviors in the sector. Okay, yeah. So next question, we will be more focused on the distribution channels. So that I think Roland and Françoise will be more experienced on this field. So both of you give any, there's, I think big OTA is now in globally and in China, the bigger ones is getting bigger. Smaller ones have to specialize. There's no middle ones. I'm sorry, the middle ones. But still, there's some emerging channels coming out. In China, we have Meituan, we have Fliggy, we have, even WeChat is building their own travel ecosystem. So they're trying to differentiate themselves. But before this, almost the same. So today, you see any difference or changes for these channels, and give some advice, suggestion to the audience? How do they work? How do the travel brands work with these different channels today? You have any ideas, insights?
Yes, for instance, first of all, we need to ensure that our own channels are directly connected, of course, to all these new emerging OTAs, the small one, the big ones, of course, it's a no-brainer. And afterwards, once we are connected to all these new audiences, we need to ensure that we're going to offer them also new experiences when they are shopping on these channels or directly on our channels. For instance, what we have experienced with Zhang and with our platform called We Hotels is that in order to attract our millennials, we have special partnerships with companies such as Fox or such as Sony to offer special alliances, special products in order to ensure that when building on our channels, they are going to find these specific experiences. Or we are also going to offer to our different members opportunities to run for special charities, because we know that it's a very high concern for the millennials to have an important involvement in the community. Then it's not only about making connections for only business, but it's also to ensure that through the different platforms we are connecting with, we are going to offer special experience or putting online new products that our different audiences could not have access to. Then really, new experience, new products that we are building specifically for those different channels.
So, if you look at market segments, especially you are a global company, you have Chinese customers, Japanese customers, different. So today, are you changing your method or your strategies based on the change of segmentations? Because 10 years ago, I think the segment is very kind of simple, but today I think it's more dynamic.
No, it depends what you are calling by segments, but I remember when I started in the hotel industry, we used to segment our clients very much between, the leisure clients, the business, the corporate, and we realize now that it's old stories.
Okay.
And that when we are really, making our marketing plans or our business plans, we are not segmenting our clients anymore in those way, because you can be a business traveler today, but you can be a travel-oriented customer tomorrow, and that your concerns when you are traveling are more and more the same ones.
Yeah, that's why I ask this question, because when I asked my daughter, 14 years old, do you want to travel with me next week to Thailand? She said, I'm too old, I'm too tired, I don't want to travel. But if I ask my mom, 70 years old, she said, of course, let me shop, book something in advance and give me some fun. So you cannot use the ages or to segment that. So digital changed a lot of things today. So Roland, any special different things?
Well, generally speaking, I do think with more and more offers for the customer coming up there, the number of opportunities increases to make businesses. So from a Western perspective, again, China is such a big country. There are so many people. So, and we are interested in somehow welcome all of them, one or the other day in our hotels. But what we see is the start of the customer journey. And I don't think that it will be enough in future to be just somewhere available on a distribution channel. But the bigger question is how the customer gets to this distribution channel after he made a decision, okay, I want to do a transaction. And what I mentioned earlier, they start to surf the web and get there. recommendation for the best places to travel and whatever, and then they are changing medias, and some of them is voice controlled, then they are visual decisions and transactions over there. We have to be very careful where our feeds will end up. So room and prices with the online distribution is very transparent, so we need to make clear there's one offer. But I don't think that we are able to influence somehow the way the customer comes to our offer, but we need to be there that when he decides to travel to a certain place in the world, and I do have an offer for this destination, I need to be there where he's going to pick up this product. And we are testing quite a lot of things. We have only a few hotels in China. The majority is in Germany. What we are trying to do is to learn with our guests together. We started the WeChat Mini program, for example, the first company in Germany, or the first hotel company in Germany, just to understand how the processes go. And we are very happy that Tencent offered this opportunity to us. So that's a big deal. By the way, it's going to be launched tomorrow. So today is not officially, but as of tomorrow is officially that we are the WeChat Mini program.
It's officially down.
So that is very interesting. So we try to dive in there and to learn from our customers. And I do think we are at the beginning, but they are so fast. I'm afraid that when we understand how that works, it's already something new up there. As you mentioned with your daughter and these very nice social media platform I've never heard of, honestly speaking. So things are so fast. So we have to hurry up quite a lot.
Good. George?
Yes, I think the situation changed a lot. The Chinese millennials, I talked with many of our users. They are impatient. They don't have time. All their time is broken. So when they don't have the time to read the long articles, they like to see the short videos, and and they also have another point is they don't have the loyalty to some brand. So we bring so many famous brand OTAs, airlines. Actually, they don't care. They just plan their way and travel in their way. So I think it's a good opportunity for the company like iGola. We bring so many good quality OTAs to our platform, and regardless the currency, the language issues, and I think it's a good opportunity for us. We are the new platform.
Okay. Yeah. Next question, we'll talk about a little bit about the influencer marketing. I know it's pretty new, especially to us. To travel, influencer marketing is a new thing. And then in China, but I can see last year was massively growing for influencer marketing. And content quality is rising. And more influencers or online celebrities and very young girls and boys, they become popular during just one night. But they create a lot of good content, and that also helped the travel industry to look at how they should change to reach and to connect with the new millennial, because that's the way they talk. So this question goes to Jenna, as the largest platform in China focused on travel, especially millennials. So how do travel brands like tourism bureaus, hotels, airlines to use that influencer platforms, influencer marketing campaigns to get more bookings or get more exposures?
Sure. Ctrip has probably done over hundreds of influencer marketing campaigns for the past few years with all the different tourism bureaus. And we do have strong connections with, Joseph mentioned, the influencers. We have a large pool of influencers that is over 5,000. And when we talk about influencer, I like to view it in a broader way. If I like to divide the influencers into 3 tiers. The first tier is influencers around us. That is our direct connection, first degree connection, our friends and families. People share the same value with us and people who we trust. And for those, when we do marketing campaign with our partners, we would work with WeChat a lot actually, because that is the communication tools for most of the friends and families. Over the past 6 months, we have incorporated all the key media channels into our platform. That is, our partners can not only reach audience users through Ctrip platform or our subsidiaries in the group, but also they could reach their users through our partnering platforms like WeChat, Weibo, Google, Facebook, Baidu, etc. So the benefit of doing that is the backbone of it is the data, the big data. Ctrip obviously have the biggest data in the travel space in China. Every day we process over 5 terabytes data for our users. And we have the users' behavioral data, we have users' booking data, and we combine the data with Tencent social graph data, and that could be very powerful. So, for example, if we're marketing for Berlin, and Berlin is actually one of our partners as well, we would look at users who have searched, browsed Berlin, no matter it's travel diaries or products, or similar destinations that share the same kind of traits of Berlin, because we have all the interest tags. Berlin is famous for electronic music and Ibiza as well. So even it is the island and a very traditional German city. With all the tagging system we have. And then we combine that with the relationship data. We only target the content, or in other words, the advertisement, to the relevant people. The people who are their friends, their family members. If they have checked a family trip product, then we probably would send the advertisement to the family on WeChat as well. So that way, it is, we want to utilize the data to, on one end, is to help the partners to market their product more precisely. And on the other hand, is also to help our users to find the related information they want easier. So essentially, I think advertising in the end is content. You want to share the knowledge and the content to the users and to save their time. So that's the way we do it. We want to engage with our users in a fuller scope. So we have consolidated all the channels, and also when we and then going to the type 2 and type 3 I mentioned. For the type 2, that's vertical influencers. That's more typical.
It's vertical
influencers. That's actually more typical influencers we're talking about.
Like me, yeah.
No, you are more advanced than that. You are the type 3. So yeah. So the type 2 are the travel KOLs. We have grown a large community of those. There are a lot of travel KOLs at different age, in different profession, to write and to share their content with us. And for those, a lot of our users refer to their travel diaries to decide their next trip. And that's and going forward, the direction Ctrip is going, as I already mentioned, is to upgrade the content format to more multimedia, and share with them with more with higher quality and more interesting content. And thirdly, the type 3 influencers are the celebrities and social figures, public figures, people who look up to. And for those people, the benefit that Ctrip has is we do work with a lot of celebrities on the marketing front. And we also have a lot of connections with public figures in different areas. For example, the gourmet list product we have, that is the Chinese version of Michelin.
Okay.
So when we launched that, we actually have a huge advisory board of a lot of public figures that is very well known in the Chinese gourmet community.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'm sure a lot of you sitting here are tourism boards or hotels or airlines. I definitely encourage you to take advantage of what we have.
Okay. So, okay. Françoise, you mentioned you're also doing some influencer marketing, something like that in China?
And for sure, it's influencers and key opinion leaders are absolutely crucial when you are launching a brand in China and when you want to be visible in China. I discovered that 2 years ago when we launched our brand in China. It's really something that we were not used to do in Europe. And when I started to work with our communication agencies in China, they all gave us the same advice, that we should really put a lot of our marketing money into key opinion leaders, into influencers, if we wanted really to have our brands visible. And what we did is that we have chosen the typical fields where we were very, very legitimate to create very interesting content. And for instance, of course, food and beverage was a very important topic, and specifically thanks to our French DNA. And then we have found key influencers in the food and beverage field in China who helped us to create absolutely great content and really highly Instagrammable content that were widely spread onto WeChat and onto other channels. And also we found real great influencers in the design sectors who helped us really spread the information about what our hotels add into specific designs and specific attentions into design. And also we had also a field on special experiences, and we had key opinion leaders we worked with for behind-the-scenes experiences, and we took them really to live our life of hotelier, and as, for instance, backstage tours, and what is the life of our housekeeper, what is the life of a wine waiter or a sommelier in the hotel industry. And they really created great content for us that were highly spread all over their channels. Then it's definitely something that any brand should consider when stepping into the Chinese market.
Well, yeah, very straightforward. Okay, final questions for everyone. So as we are planning the marketing dollars, or you have already have your budget for marketing in 2018. So what are your suggestions? Now, how you plan your budget, especially targeting to reach the Chinese millennial? Let's George start.
Okay. this year we'll put more marketing dollars on short videos for sure. And I can't expect one marketing method can use in the future years. I think I can only answer the question for this year, because the internet speed is very, the trend is changing very fast.
Exactly.
So this year, our marketing dollar will spend more on short videos.
On what?
Short videos.
Okay, short videos.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Roland, short videos?
Yeah, well, marketing dollars. You guys all have to stay with Maritim Hotel so I can earn money, and with this money I can spend some for marketing. No, but seriously speaking, we are looking for distribution channels and for social media. We are not quite sure if there is one specific area where we have to put the mandatory part of this, but we like to trial and error. To see if there's anything, what picks up, yes, no. And we are aware that as a hotel supplier, we are just a part of the whole travel, and it's the tiny things what makes the big things work. So we need to pick up our observation and see, okay, what is our role, what is our position within that. So generally speaking, we want to be everywhere. We try with small steps to get quick wins, and we see visual things are more important than words. So this is probably our focus for this year and next year.
Okay, thank you. Jenna?
Yeah, if you ask me about the marketing dollar we spend at C-Trip, I think, yes, the short video platform is getting more. And at the same time, at destination marketing, our role is to help the DMOs, the travel partners, hotels, and airlines to spend their marketing dollar. So my advice for that is, I think, of course, mobile, online and mobile, right? Everybody knows that. But I know there's a lot of international audience here. Probably in other markets, it's slightly different because for us, booking is over 70% mobile for 2016, and 2017 would be even higher, and this year definitely will get even higher. So, and I see a lot of clients, in both international and domestic, are still willing to spend a lot on PC. So I think, of course, I think PC, it is still essential when in terms of itinerary research, but mobile is everybody is mobile in China, so that's pretty the one and only channel. And secondly, I mentioned this before. It is about for user engagement. So if we look at the funnel from impression to preference to conversion, or from CPM to CPC to CPS. We want to engage with our users from their inspiration to research to booking. And what I'd like to offer to the market, to the industry, is to provide a holistic approach. As I mentioned, we incorporate everything. We provide all the channels, and so that every step we give users the right thing they want, the inspiration they like, and when they are ready for booking. Particularly for China, it's two key times, right? The Golden Week and the Chinese New Year. So for the 6 months lead time, we need to give them good deal, and the deal that would trigger the purchase. So you want to have the full engagement process designed ahead of time. And I think that's pretty much
okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the
okay.
marketing dollar.
Just one quick question for you: which destination will be suddenly be very popular according to your data for next year? Can you tell that? Suddenly, you need to say that.
Well, I mean, there will be a lot of.
Only one.
Okay.
Your personal.
Okay, that could be many, and I'll tell you the triggers or the factors you should consider. Because in China, things move fast, as we mentioned. For example, last year the Paonan show, right?
Yes.
Actually makes Prague a very popular destination for the Golden Week, and we're seeing Portugal is actually picking up this year.
Again, which country? Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugal.
Yeah. As we are in Europe.
Okay, let's see next year when we come back. It is true. Okay, finally, Françoise.
Then where would we put our marketing dollars? We said earlier, or one of my partners said earlier, that millennials are not very loyal to brands, and it's true. Then our main focus is how we do create brand preference, and in order to do so, we need to focus on what are the major concerns of the millennials. Then, first of all, we are investing a lot on new concepts, how to make sure that our concepts are really meeting the millennials' expectations. And one of their big concern is education. Then, for instance, how hotels can offer new platforms, new creative platforms, in order for the millennials be able to create in our hotels. Then it's not about only, of course, offering co-working spaces, which is a no-brainer, but it's more about, how we can incorporate Fab Lab in our hotels, how we can organize pitch or giving them pitch rooms, or how training our clients to have, or to be great TED Talk speakers. Or then all of this are really new fields that we are going to implement in a lot of new concepts. And of course, environmental issues are very crucial for millennials. Then we need to ensure that our brands are investing a lot in environmental. And as I said earlier, millennials are very much concerned also in inequality in society. And if a brand wants to really emerge towards the millennials, a brand needs to ensure that as a corporation, the brand has a real role to play in the society. Then it's really where we are also going to put our marketing money in the next months and years.
Okay, last but not the least, it's good time for us to rethink about how you work with Chinese millennials in the coming future. And then let's join me to thank you for all the speakers, give our great insights, and welcome to China.